Cobra pose is one of the best postures to develop spinal extension, otherwise known as heart opening or back bending, without that compressive feeling where you feel like, oh man, my low back hurts. And that's because it helps you to bow out the spinal column. If you think about like a bow and arrow, when you pull the bow back, one hand is pushing the center of the bow forward. And this is what we learned. So I'm gonna teach you my 3-part Cobra pose, because there's a lot of Cobra poses out there that honestly, when you push, create more pain in the back than you would certainly want or like. And this variation, or this way of approaching Cobra pose, creates more of a bowing and ultimately is going to give you and lead you to that greater opening in your spinal column, so that you feel good doing not just Cobra pose but other back bends as well. And I just want to note that a lot of people do upward facing dog and vinyasa practices today, and while that's a great pose, it's usually ineffective in actually building a deeper back bend practice. So I suggest Cobra pose. Let's get into how to do this 3-part Cobra. So, with your hands wide, elbows pointing up, the first step is to peel your chest away from the ground. A slight rounding, but not a big rounding of the back. So don't overdo abdominal contraction. Just lift up. You can see how my front body is kind of pulling back just a little bit. Now, that gets me away from the ground, but it might start to compress the low back. So then step 2 is to actually roll your shoulders back and press your low rib cage forward. And you can see how the front ribs sag down as a result. You see how my chest is no longer pulling back, but it's softening downward. I think that angle is probably the best, but I'll show you from the side angle as well. So instead of here, this is step 1. Step 2 is here. The ribs fall forward, the belly relaxes, okay? So back bends really are about pressing the spinal column forward. Now, from that place, if you do feel decompressed, you feel good, then the next step is to stretch the belly long. So I pull the abdomen up towards my throat, and that unfolds the spine. Okay, then release back down. Now, this 3-part Cobra certainly takes time to develop in your body until you really understand the bowing of the rib cage in order to push the spinal column forward in order to decompress the spine rather than causing that compressive feeling of discomfort in your spinal column. If you're liking this video so far, please make sure you hit the like button, the share button. If you're on my blog, that's the best. Make sure that you share it on your social media channels. And if you want to practice with me on a regular basis, I offer monthly immersions, so you sign up for the month and we practice 3 times a week. If you don't want to practice live, you can purchase any of the immersions that I've taught so far. There's immersions for arm balancing, like the October immersion, which is called the Breakthrough. There's immersions for the spinal reset, that's the November 2020 immersion. We've got handstand immersion, that's December 2020 immersion. The video that this is coming from is March 2021, and it was called Move, Breathe, Release. You might love that one. Let's get back into Cobra and continue on. All right, now let's do our 3-part Cobra. Hands and feet wide. Inhale, lift the front body. Soften the rib cage and chest forward. Elbows and shoulders relax. Stretch the belly by picking it up towards your heart. Exhale, release. Now, I'm going to take a quick moment while we're here. Someone asked this question about being on fingers. She said she gets more range of motion when on the palms. And of course that is the case, because you have more ability to push when your palms are on the ground, which is precisely the reason why I don't have the palms on the ground, because when you push, the tendency is to press the upper body into the lower body, compressing the spine, rather than how a real back bend is formed is not pushing one vertebra to the next. It's by pulling the rib cage, like a bowing it forward, bowing the midsection forward, and the feet are still back, obviously, and the shoulders can relax back, and even the head eventually goes back, but the center of the bow has to press forward. So it's not a push with the hands of the upper body back, it's actually a pull of the upper body so the chest moves forward and the abdomen stretches. I can't stress that enough, but it's very... So give it appropriate amount of time. Of course, make sure you're not experiencing any pain. If you are experiencing pain, be sure to back out and consult a specialist about what you are doing and make sure that is right for you. And in addition, just know that over the course of time, really settling into these ideas and these techniques will help your body open up, okay? And it's not like a one and done, okay, now I got Cobra pose sort of thing. That's not how the body works. The body requires focused repetition. So thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is Matt Giordano, TheYogiMatt.com. I appreciate you watching and look forward to sharing more with you soon.